Most leaders think that trust falls are the way to build trust in their team. We decided early on to go with a different strategy, and that is to eat a lot together. What is the power in that? Where did that come from?
For me, it sounds super cliche, but there's something about breaking bread together. There's just something about sitting across from someone, having that shared experience, just discovering what somebody likes in food, the conversations that happen. Your guard is just down when you do that. Now, if you just do it like once a year, like then I think you create some awkwardness because it's like, hey, it's our annual time. I can't screw up. But just if it's these kind of casual interactions, a quick lunch, those kind of things, that's where you can start. And it just becomes real easy. And that's where I think trust begins to be available to everybody.
Definitely. We made the decision when we moved into this office building, I don't know, a few years back, that we weren't going to allow our team members to eat lunch at their desk. And at our old building, it was a free-for-all. People did whatever they wanted. A lot of people, went out, or we didn't really have great space to actually eat lunch together. And in this building, we actually have the opportunity to do that. And so one thing I love, at first I complained about that because I occasionally wanted to crank through some emails, while I, munch down on my lunch. And now I really value going downstairs and sitting in our lunchroom and just hanging out with the team. I think there's something so valuable in just being present and being seen and being around your team. And honestly, we try not to talk about work when we're down there. I mean, sometimes you do. It obviously comes up. But we just try to catch up on, hey, George, what's happening in your life? What are you excited about? What's hard? whatever. And we talk about whatever fun stuff is going on in our lives. And
there's bachelorette tables, people that just talk about the bachelor. There's
true. There's gaming tables.
There is gaming tables. And that's what's cool about it is that because we've said you're not eating at your desk, all the gamers, they would just sit at their desk and play games by themselves. But now
it's
like
there's
high
a
school.
Safe
place for
it's
them.
like high school, except I'm not getting bullied. So it's great. Really enjoying that. But it is fun to just plop down. Dave will just walk up and plop down at a random table and freak everyone out. And they're like, oh gosh, Dave's here. But he's just shooting the breeze, having
People
a good time.
People are used to it by now, I think.
Yes.
Most of the time.
What's your favorite thing in the cafe, Daniel? What's your go-to?
Honestly, I just get a sandwich.
Just a sandwich.
An
Pretty
Italian
boring.
sub.
Yeah, it's hard to beat Taco Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Taco Tuesday is it's a thing. It's really good. I like it.
So part of eating together, we do that in our cafeteria, but we also have a lot of team events where, we'll get food catered in, we'll do food trucks. What is your favorite team event that involves food?
Man, everything we do involves food. Like if it's like one of our big events, like Battle of the Bands, Spelling Bee, those all involve food at some level. So, I mean, I think if we're talking about those favorite events, I mean, for me, Spelling Bee is great. It's super fun. And I think we've talked about this even on this podcast here in the past. Like it's something so easy that teams can implement and do. It's not big production like Battle of the Bands, but yeah, food's a part of it. Food's a part of everything we do.
And generally, Spelling Bee, we do like Chick-fil-A catered.
Yeah.
Something simple like that.
Nothing fancy.
Not a 4-course meal.
Right. And that's for our team, it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be 3 courses. It's Chick-fil-A. It's a food truck. It's a dessert truck. It's a snow cone truck. Like it's
sometimes we even do things where it's just, hey, bring your own lunch. We just ask team members, hey, we're gonna do this thing. We're just going to self-organize it and hang out. Now, bigger company events will typically buy their stuff. But, if you're a small business owner out there, it doesn't have to be expensive. It's, hey, let's all go meet up in the park and bring our own lunches. You don't have to have a space. You can find a space or, be creative with it.
You don't need to drop $10,000 a month just to build trust through food.
Right. Back in the day, I had this reputation on our team, on the live events team, for every time our VP went out of town, I would buy ice cream for the office. So they were kind of happy when he left. It made me look really good.
Champ.
So it's a leadership lesson as well as and it was just fun. And
how much did that cost to get the ice cream?
It's like $30 and it's like 20 people. Like it's not much. Or if we splurged, if I really went big, it was, hey, we're going to happy hour at Sonic and we're doing half price drinks, cherry limeades for everybody, making it rain. It was great.
That's amazing. So you mentioned small business owners. We're at over 1,000 people. It looks different at scale. I mean, the amount of money we spend on food per year now versus 20 years ago is very different. So how do you do this with a team of, let's say, 2 to 5 people or 10 people?
Yeah, one of the things we do, I mentioned earlier, people asking people to bring lunch, or hey, we're all gonna, the other day we actually gathered together as a leadership team to watch some of the videos from Summit. And so we all were like, hey, just bring your own lunch. We're gonna meet at this time. Another thing that we do is our leadership team has a quarterly offsite where we spend a whole day planning out what's coming in our business, working through big problems. And that's something we teach in EntreLeadership for another time. But one thing we always do is the night before we get together and just go out to dinner together. And so I cover it. We go out to a local restaurant and just grab dinner. We may even get an appetizer or two, maybe a dessert,
Living
make it
it
real
up.
special.
Spender.
But really, the point of that is just to spend quality time together and to look each other in the eyes and to laugh and to tell stories and to just have a deeper understanding of each other. And that really builds trust. And trust is the foundation of everything on a team. And so we like to do that right before our offsite because we know it's going to be a fun yet intense and sometimes frustrating day where we're going to be having healthy conflict. And so I want to spend time, setting the foundation of trust before we do something like that.
Yeah. And I heard a story about a company. They would do Pizza Tuesdays, and they were looking at, cutting some things out of the budget. And that was one of the things they cut, and people revolted. There is a weird power in taking away food from people, and it's a basic human need. But there is an amazing thing that happens when we gather together, we eat together, and we're not in a meeting. Because usually your interactions are emails and meetings, or you're passing someone in the hallway. But when you make it a point to sit down together and not talk about work and just go, hey, Daniel, how's your son doing? Hey, Joe, you love to grill. What do you grill lately that you absolutely love?
Yeah.
It changes the relationship for the better when you show that you care.
So often I think we believe that we have to have some highly produced lunch. Again, this can be really easy. It can be as simple as bring your own food, like Daniel said. It can be a chili cook-off. We have a lot of teams that do that here in the building. The other thing, I was just in an advisory group with some other senior leaders yesterday. This is a group that's been together for 2 years. Some simple apps, just hanging out. And then we did these questions for humans cards that we have, Office
From
Edition.
Dr. John Deloney.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's great. And we learned so much from each other. Like, honestly, I think yesterday our trust in that group was probably a solid 7, 8. And I think we went up a notch or two just based on an hour together, a few tortillas and guacamole.
That's all you need.
And those questions. And it was great.
And it really comes down to connecting and not being so in the meeting. What are we doing? Take the notes, accomplish. Instead, it's connecting on a human level. That's what this is all about. That's what builds trust.
Yeah.
Well, I love the way both of you lead your teams, Joe with the live events team and Daniel with EntreLeadership, of course. You guys crush it, and honored to know you guys. Thanks for being on.
Thank you.
Thanks, George.